Hey guys, how's it going? So, Game Informer just dropped a 12-minute video of Resident Evil 4 Remake. Looks like right after you get Ashley for the first time at a church. So, I want to make a quick video discussing some of the things that Game Informer shows. If you want to watch the original Game Informer video, it's going to be linked down in the description. I am going to have the audio muted because they are commentating throughout and they have some things to say. So, if you want to watch their original video, please check the description below to go and watch it. So we are going to just react and discuss some of the things starting off right now. So it says chapter 5, which I found interesting because chapter 5 is the end of the game in Resident Evil 4. So the chapter system obviously is going to work a little different. So let's skip around a little bit. Without audio, no real point watching it 12 minutes all the way through. So I like the look of the Ganados, which we've obviously seen some of them before. And one thing I wanted to point out while I was watching this, so we did see some of the sneak mechanics very briefly in the original trailer back last summer, which I thought was really interesting because that is just completely new. So there is a couple things that I'm later in the video that I'll point out whenever I see it, but it kind of almost reminds me of the Evil Within 2 in some ways, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It stood out to me, reminded me a lot of that. So obviously this is a little different than the original game, but still similar enough. Nothing to really nitpick at. I do like the new character models. Leon looks like Leon. He's noticeably a lot more, muscular in this one, so he's definitely got some size on him. And the commentators in the Game Informer video did mention this, but I want to mention it as well. The comms are now in game instead of like little cutscenes, which I think is pretty neat. It adds to the flow of the gameplay, doesn't stop you, so you can discuss something with whoever and then keep going. And now it's in game. So there was an article by Game Informer, I believe, where they mentioned that there's new enemies and side quests. So you're going to see a little bit of both in this video. So the side quest is that little poster right there on the left, or at least that's some of them. I don't know if that's all of them, but that's what we're seeing in this video. And whenever I first read that headline without watching the video, I was like, well, side quest is such a vague term. Technically, in Resident Evil 4, shooting the blue medallions is a side quest. So it might be something similar to that. It doesn't have to be like The Witcher 3 or God of War or something like that. Like just picking up a bounty and turning it into the merchant is a side quest if you want to be think about it. Which the medallions are back. You'll see that later in the video. But so this is what I was talking about. This reminds me of the Evil Within 2. The sneaking and then the knife attack for the instant kill takedown. I think that's really interesting. Completely new to Resident Evil, obviously. So I like the way the enemies move and look. It looks pretty fucking terrifying. And I like the takedown while they're on the floor as well, because that's looks like it's an instant kill. And I don't, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think I read it online somewhere that it stops their head from sprouting. So that would be a very interesting gameplay dynamic to use that to prevent what you see in the background of their head sprouting into the plagas. So melee moves are back, and this video does show some of them. And of course the flashbangs work like flashbangs. What I do want to point out too about the head sprouting is that it looks really, really nice. There's more, meat to it, so to speak. So this is showing off shooting a bird's nest. They made a cheeky joke about a chicken head being in a bird's nest, which is funny because, they do mention it, like snakes have chicken eggs and shit too, so it's not too out of the ordinary. So I think I am going to unmute it when he gets to the merchant, because the voice actor for the merchant just sounds a lot more different than what we're used to.
There he is.
Took care of a request. Well done.
Man himself.
Look at you.
you can see her turning in.
So, that's something you're just going to have to get used to. Now, watch this. This is my favorite part about the whole Game Informer video. The Red 9 is back. Okay. Red 9's my favorite pistol in Resident Evil 4. There's no secret about that. And the Red 9's back. I didn't really doubt that it would be, but it's just good to see. So, the Red 9's back. You see a little bit of upgrading and stuff like that too. Nothing super crazy, just a new take on it. And Leon equips it, loads it up. And then another thing that you see right here is, so we got the attach case, which is nice, doesn't really change that much. But this is new. So you get, this is new for Resident Evil 4. You can, use the D-pad or whatever shortcut it is on the keyboard to switch to your weapons, kind of like Resident Evil 5, where you have the inventory is a little different, but you can put a gun in the top, left, right, and bottom, and then you can use your D-pad to equip them quickly. So Resident Evil 4 is doing something similar to that, which is nice. It's kind of annoying to open up your attach case to pull out a gun that's pretty dated. So I'm glad to see that they are adding some quality of life stuff that doesn't necessarily change the game too much, but it does make it flow better. So I just want to point that out as well. So he's going to load the pistol, of course. And then this is, kind of what I was talking about with, it's like a bounty almost. So, so far that's what we see at the side quests. There might be more later on, but, my first initial reaction to side quests being in the game was, it's probably just merchant bounties. Like, honestly, nothing different from the medallion. So the graphics in this look awesome. The lighting is really spectacular. The Game Informer people mentioned the rain looks a little weird. I agree with that. I don't know if they're going to fix that. But, so, shoot him in the face with the Red 9, kick him, stab him in the neck. And I really like that combo. It beats knifing somebody while they're on the ground, and then knifing them only for their head to pop out. So when I watched this, I had to rewind it a couple times. This is like the original, village. Whenever you get to the village for the first time, and like that's the cabin on the right side that has the it doesn't really have anything of value in there. I guess in Mercenaries it has the combo time and stuff, but I just like how they're keeping it similar but changing it up. So I'm really just interested to explore the map when the game comes out and see where all the new pathways lead to and stuff like that. So we jump forward a little bit, it looks like. And this part of the video, if you go down and watch the Game Informer video, they're bringing up the rain part right now. So this shows off the lighting a little bit with the flashlight and the surroundings. It just looks really good. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that Dead Space remake. The lighting in that game is phenomenal. But I really like the atmosphere that this is showing off right now. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. We don't really need to watch all of this. Their commentary is worth checking out. I definitely recommend after you watch this. If you haven't seen it already, go back and watch the Game Informer video. So we're back to the village, and I read online too, again, I'm not sure how true it is, but you can't make Ashley hide, or, oh, watch this fucking wolf. Like, that is terrifying. I hate dogs in Resident Evil. In most video games, dogs are usually the worst, and that adds a little bit of extra fucking spice to the mix. So a couple more jumps, but anyway, you can't make Ashley wait, but if you watch the video, the Game Informer video, he says like scatter or something like that, and she kind of gets away. So it's going to be interesting how they treat Ashley with this game. I don't want to say it's going to make or break, but it's definitely going to be a big influence, just because a lot of people complain about babysitting So I'm kind of hoping they make her a little bit smarter with the AI and stuff like that, which kind of expected. So there's the medallion. And then this is another change in the map. You, instead of like going over the door and everything like that, you just go straight to the cabin. So up next is going to show the cabin fight and one of the new enemies. So we get a good look at Luis, and of course Luis has the red nun as well. If you watch their video, you can hear how chunky it sounds. So we're gonna skip ahead a little bit, and just a new take on the cabin cutscene. And it gets a little action-packed here. I like the new scope for the rifle. It makes it... I never really liked the rifles in Resident Evil 4 just because of like the scopes, and that's another thing. You could parry with the knife, which I know I keep saying I find it interesting, but like they're adding all these changes that I can't say that I won't know how I feel about it until I play it, but I like what I see. So again, I really like the way the new Plagas look whenever it sprouts. I like the new... Okay, so here is the new enemy type. Now, he looks like a brute with a hammer, pretty much. I don't know how hard he's supposed to be. I don't know if he's going to be on the same level as, like, the sort of quote-unquote mini-bosses like the Chainsaw Ganado or, JJ or whatever. But he does come in swinging hard and fast and almost kills Leon in one hit, if you saw right there. So that's... pretty terrifying. So this shows combining treasures, nothing crazy, but that's back obviously. So that's, it's nice that they're keeping some of the smaller shit like this. And they discuss, you get different types of attach cases. Oh, and I really like this. You could take shit out of your attach case and put it in storage. I didn't really like the idea of, and Resident Evil 8 does this as well, your attach case is everything, right? So if you buy a gun and you don't have space for another gun, you have to sell that gun. Now in Resident Evil 8 it's a little different because you could buy it back with all the upgrades that you put on it, but you still had to buy it back. I don't really like that. You have to sell it and buy it back. In this game, so far, just from the video, it looks like you could just put it in a storage box and take it out when you want it. So I like that change. And then let me just skip ahead a little bit. So right here, the cases have different attributes. So case perk increased drop rate for resources. Charm perks 100% health recovery for all egg types. Now that sounds kind of overpowered, honestly, but it seems like, so there's 30 charms and there's at least 5 cases. And it adds a little bit more flavor to the mix, changes things up a little bit. So that's going to be interesting to see what all the charms do, what all the attached cases do. So I'm looking forward to that. I think all changes are pretty welcome that I've seen so far. And then here's their outro. So, make sure you go watch their video because their commentary adds a bit more. Because this is just my reaction. I'm just kind of going over it and discussing it. They kind of get a little bit more deeper into it because they actually played it. So one thing, I kind of hope they come out with a demo soon because, every other Resident Evil had one, I'm pretty sure. Well, all the recent ones had one. But, so we might be able to see that within the next month. We still got almost 2 months until the game comes out. But like I said, I watched it this morning. There's a lot of exciting stuff I saw in this video, so I kind of wanted to just go over it, discuss it a little bit. I think everything that I've seen so far, I'm really liking. I'm glad that the Red Nun's back, which, whatever. But it looks like, so we got pistol, Red Nun, shotgun, TMP, bolt action. I don't know what the hell that is. That looks like a new weapon. The new merchant's voice actor, you're gonna have to get used to that. It is what it is, no big deal. But so far, it really seems like they're sticking true to Resident Evil 4 without making any crazy changes. And I mentioned this before in some of my previous videos and discussions. I'm happy with changes as long as they make sense. I don't even mind them cutting stuff out as long as it makes sense, like bloat. Like, I mean, hell, I don't want to go through the Salazar running from the statue again. I hope they cut that shit out because that was annoying. Or like, fuck. I mean, some of the stupid shit that they did in the castle. There was a lot of dumb stuff in the castle. I think the castle, I mean, people want to complain about the island. The island's short. The castle is so long, and a lot of it's just pointless. Like the Salazar statue. I mean, I hope they do the minecart section because that whole underground section with all the villagers being like slaves or whatever was interesting, atmosphere wise, but kind of goes overboard a little bit with the minecart. And I don't know, Resident Evil 4 is kind of goofy and campy in some areas, so I hope they keep some of that charm but cut out some of that bloat, you know? So I don't know, I can go on and on a tangent about this. I was just excited with what I saw, so I wanted to make this video. I will probably discuss some more Resident Evil 4, or yeah, I'll discuss more Resident Evil 4 remake stuff in the future. But until then, I am streaming Resident Evil 4 Rising of Evil mod. It is insanely hard, so check that out. I have one stream up as of recording this video, and I will continue it. I'm going to try to beat it. I'm not sure if I will. I don't know. But until then, yeah, we're doing that. We're doing some Dead Space, and I am kind of revisiting my Resident Evil 4 weapon showcases. So I have a lot of Resident Evil 4 stuff I'm revisiting up until the remake. And we only got, a month and a half or so left. So if you guys are interested, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out some of that content. I got plenty of Resident Evil 4 content on my channel. So yeah, I'm going to end the video here, and see you next time.